We live in a time where everybody talks about justice and fairness. We talk about sensitivity, we talk about inclusivity, correctness, compassion. And yet, trust is collapsing. People don't trust courts, people don't trust the media, they don't trust leadership or government, they don't trust each other. Everybody feels morally certain, but somehow we feel less stable, less unified, and less just. So here's the question: if we care so much about justice, why does justice feel so fragile? Parshat Mishpatim answers that question for us. Right after the most dramatic moments in Jewish history, Sinai, after fire and thunder and revelation, the Torah opens with Ve'ela HaMishpatim, and these are the laws. Not prayer, not mysticism, not some deep theology. Civil law, damages, loans, property, responsibility. And Rashi makes sure that we don't miss the point, that just like the 10 Commandments were from Sinai, these laws are also from Sinai. And the Torah is telling us that this is not leaving the spirituality of Sinai. These laws are actually the spirituality. The Ramban says that justice prevents moral confusion, that when we had the commandment of you can't covet somebody else's item, that in this parsha, we have to understand what is your item, what is ownership, what belongs to you. We need to understand how to actually keep that law. Laws begin with boundaries. You can't have blurred boundaries where people thought something was theirs or they felt entitled. And the Torah here is giving specific definition. Later on in the parsha, we talk about Shochad, bribery. And the Torah says, V'shochad lo tikach, do not take a bribe. And when we think of a bribe, we think of an envelope of cash. But really, the rabbis say that Shochad includes anything that sways judgment. Anything, not just money. It could be a favor, it could be a relationship, it could be some sort of identification with somebody, or even having sympathy for somebody, or making some sort of assumption. And the Torah is explaining something very deep, that the moment you identify with one side or against one side, your ability to judge objectively weakens. And that's modern partisanship. Today, people don't examine facts. They examine which side the facts help. They don't ask, is this true? They ask, is this our side? And that's Shochad today. And the Torah forbids it. That justice in the Torah is not emotional, it's not tribal, it's not partisan, it's truth. The Netziv says that civil law itself brings blessing into the world. Not inspiration and not passion, but a society where you're returning lost property, where you don't lie, where you're helping your enemy and helping his animal, where you don't oppress people, you don't oppress converts, you don't manipulate the vulnerable. These mitzvot are woven throughout the parsha. They're not the most dramatic mitzvot or inspiring, but the Netziv is teaching us that blessing comes from moments, not from elevated moments, but from fair moments. That a society becomes holy when it becomes predictable in its justice. So why does the parsha start with the Jewish slave? The very first law is about a Jewish slave, and it sounds very primitive, but you have to understand that an Eved Ivri, a Jewish slave, is not slavery the way we think about it. It's somebody who economically his life has collapsed and he has to live with somebody else and serve him to rehabilitate himself. And the owner has to treat him with a very high level of dignity. He can't degrade him. You have to provide his property. If you only have one pillow, he gets it. And the first halacha in the parsha is, what do you do if he wants to stay? So that is how we define slavery, where you treat somebody with such respect, somebody weaker than you, to the point where he actually wants to stay. And that's what the Torah shows us right away, that this is how we treat others, and how we treat others that are at a disadvantage. Rabbi Hirsch says that Mishpatim comes before the Mishkan because Hashem will not dwell amongst a people and in a society ruled by force or impulse. Before you build an altar, you have to build justice. That holiness isn't measured by how nicely you pray, but how fair you are in business and to others. How restrained you are when you have leverage over somebody. And Mishpatim is not a book of technical regulations. It's the blueprint for an ethical society. People think that the Torah is some sort of archaic book of laws and very dry, and it's harsh. But this parsha coming right after Har Sinai is showing us the opposite, that this isn't just law. This is building a moral society, a society and a set of laws that has stayed moral and resists bias and defines boundaries and restrains power and cares for human dignity and builds trust. And we don't keep these laws because they are moral, even though they are. They're moral because they shape us, and they keep us moral.